And hello, welcome to the League of Extraordinary Atheists for Humanism, where we attempt to apply logic and reason to religion and politics. I'm here with my wonderful, beautiful co-host, Christy Santiago.
That's me. Happy Friday, guys. And
Happy Friday.
You never introduced yourself. So
Me?
I'm with my lovely co-host, who is absolutely talented and beautiful, Mac.
Hi, guys. I'm Mac.
Also known as the Great Skeptic.
Yeah.
In case you're
Thank
wondering.
you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. You know, I didn't notice I don't introduce myself anymore.
I didn't either. Stacy actually said,
nice.
Mac doesn't. He needs to say his name.
Yeah. That's
Or
a good point.
I will.
Minor things. We'll just let you do it.
Selfless intro.
Yeah. All right. So we have a lot to cover tonight. So hold on, let me. All right.
A lot of good stuff. And
Let
a lot
me
of
say hi to the chat. Hi, chat. There we go. Done the thing. And so yeah, there's a ton. We're going to cover a little bit of the coronavirus tonight. We got a little bit of politics and religion stuff to share with you. Did you get any like Democrat stock or Republican stock kind of deal? Did you get any of that this week? Because I didn't really focus on it.
I did the opposite.
The opposite. Okay, cool. And I was looking for another thing, but I can't find it. Sorry, everyone. All right, now I can focus better. So, first thing, and like a lot of this is like really connected. We didn't mean for much of like this week's topics to be connected, but this week's topics are very connected. Like from the religion and politics to the coronavirus to the Green New Deal, climate change stuff. It's very intertwined through and through. So to start it off, religion and politics. We have our wonderful, beautiful Mike Pence, sorry, who was just put in charge of dealing with the coronavirus, which is a hoax, I'm hearing in the last 45 minutes. Because, we need to put the vice president in charge of what the president thinks is a hoax. This whole thing is a fucking mess. Why does this concern religion? It's because Mike Pence shouldn't be in charge of this because he is a young earth creationist. He doesn't believe in evolution. He also, when he was faced with having to deal with a drug issue in the state of Indiana, he went to pray to God for a solution. And it was against the solution that the state legislator, sorry, my cat's going crazy. There's legislation to pass in Indiana that would have helped by making safe injection sites or just giving safe needles. I'm not exactly sure on exactly how it was supposed to go, but he was against that. And since he was against that, they had an HIV outbreak because he couldn't fix the problem by actually trying to fix the problem, right? If you just tell people not to do things that they shouldn't do, then that just fixes itself, right?
Right.
No, that's not how it works. We know that. We've tried that. Other countries have given people safe injection sites, and that does help, right? That helps by people can talk about their issues more. They have a safe place to go, and they spread infectious disease less. That's what I mean by help. Okay, just to be clear.
Well, with that story, there. The part that was so frustrating was they had the epidemic. They saw the numbers rising with HIV. This thing was happening. So the smart, reasonable leadership thing to do would be to talk to people who this is what they do, and what they suggest is because it has worked. They're saying, you know, this happened somewhere, so we applied these things, they didn't work, so don't do them. What did work was this, this, and this. So apply those policies and we can slow this down. And one of them was, you know, having a safe place, because this was already happening and there weren't safe places to use your needles, to do injections, to even use the drug. There wasn't a place where you can say, hey, what's in this? Does it have, you know, fentanyl in it? Will I die if I use it? And he wouldn't do what the professionals said it would be the best thing to do for your people, the people you represent. That's what's so frustrating. He wanted to pray the gay away, pretty much. Pray the AIDS away. Pray HIV away. Yeah.
Right, and that's obviously not how it works. This is another big reason why we need to keep religion separate from politics. It's because you can't pray away social and economic views or issues. You just can't do it. I had another thing as well, but I don't remember what it was right now. So I'm cool to just move on to the next topic, which is the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to preface it with the religion and politics issue that's connected here. So the coronavirus, I have not followed it very much at all until the last couple of days. And I'm realizing more and more that it is growing and how big of a deal it is. And it's growing exponentially for two reasons. One, because it is a big deal, right? This coronavirus is it's spreading. It's spreading, and we don't know what to do with it yet for multiple reasons, which I'll get to. But also, the reason why it's kind of blowing up right now is because when it started, the Chinese government tried to keep it under wraps instead of letting information out about it, so more people could try to deal with it and prepare. So it was already an issue, but it's blowing up because we're learning about this big issue when it's a big issue and not a small issue. So that is going to be part of our discussion tonight. It started in Wuhan, right? Am I saying it right? Wuhan,
yes.
Wuhan, yeah. Sorry, I will butcher the names. And it started in an open-air market, I believe a fish market. And from what I gathered so far, it's kind of difficult to get through all the jargon, as usual. But it seems like they think it started with bats, just in their biology, and it doesn't bother bats, but it does bother us. So why is it starting now? It's most likely because of deforestation. We kill other animals' habitats, so they have to go somewhere else, and that tends to be where we are, right? This is how a lot of viruses come in contact with humans, is because they come from other species, and when we destroy other species' homes, well, they have to find a new habitat, right? So the first solution that popped up into my head for this problem, so take it with a grain of salt, because this is why I'm saying it this way, is, look, if we're going to deforest an area, like, we need to just set it on fire and kill everything in there, or it's going to come back to bite us, right? And obviously that is not a good solution. So I'm not advocating for it. But yeah, like, we don't know how to deal with our shit, one. Two, we don't know how to deal with other species on the planet. Like, we don't know how to share with other cultures, let alone other species. And it really is an issue that is harming a lot of people. And again, other species. But that's not something we really focus on. But I wanted to kind of plant that seed in everyone's head tonight. It's like, this is a bigger issue than just like the human race. It's more connected, which I think Christy will get to a little bit in her dealio, or I'll bring it back up. So, yeah. Something else that has happened with the coronavirus is that the city of Wuhan, and Christy, please correct me if I'm wrong here. Is that the city that was quarantined?
I didn't hear what city you were saying.
Wuhan.
The Wuhan?
Wuhan?
I'm sure
yeah.
it is.
Wuhan. Yeah. I believe that was quarantined. I'm not sure if it still is. I think it's not anymore because some of the people that were there have been released, and the ones that I am referring to were Australian, and it was a NBC documentary that I listened to. They were there for about 2 weeks on lockdown. They just couldn't leave where they were. And also, if I'm saying it right, Delhi, India. I'm not sure if they were quarantined, but they were definitely, there was no one out on the streets, and that's a pretty big city there. So quarantine is happening is the main point I'm trying to get to. Quarantining cities. And I've also heard that maybe the U.S. government has plans to quarantine cities. I haven't confirmed that. Have you heard anything on that?
The U.S. wants to?
Yes.
Only
like,
propaganda.
Right. So, yeah, that's why I said I haven't confirmed it. So I'm not sure if that is or isn't.
But there would be nothing wrong with that if there were, a whole area that were infected. Of course, that would be the smart thing to do.
Right. And there are good and bad things about that, right? Because,
yeah, you can't step on people's rights, but at the same time, it is a perfectly logical thing to do would be to say this whole area has been tested and everyone that's still in it has been positive for this. So no one's coming in and out. We'll make sure everyone has food. There will have to be some sort of government program to make sure people can have their bills still paid. It has to happen correctly without hurting people. But I don't think anyone with a brain in their head would have a problem with saying, hey, they are definitely infected. Let's make sure that they don't infect everyone else. But no, I haven't heard of. I've heard of people in quarantine, but not whole areas being quarantined. There's been like that cruise boat and people coming in off the airport, going into a hotel, and the hotel is in quarantine, but not whole towns or cities. Nothing like that here.
Right. So there's a lot of conspiracies going around right now about the coronavirus, and I can't get too deep into. I plan on listening to them all day, but I ended up just listening to just the basic news on the coronavirus instead, because there's so much developing right now, including, like I said, 45 minutes ago, Trump said it was a hoax.
Well, so I would like to also just remind people that our corporate news, our mainstream media, their job is to make you want to keep watching. So they're going to have warning, epidemic, scary, and it is those things. We have to be cautious that this thing has killed people, but also that's their job to get you to watch. So the best thing that anyone can do to be informed would be go to the CDC and read what they have there, and that is what you go by. You can also go to other countries' departments of health and read that it's available for everyone. So you can see, if 5 random departments are saying very similar things, then you're probably good to go with that information. If they're starkly different, we might be scared. But as of right now, they're not starkly different. And everything in moderation. You know, it is scary. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face when you put your bag down. When you pick it up and set it in your lap, most of us, our hands touch it. Don't touch your face. And wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. And
but I touch my face so much.
I know you do. It's not good. Don't do it. If you're at home and you're touching your face like I am now, I haven't gone anywhere to get anything on me. I'm touching my own germs. So that's okay. You know, when you're out and about, you opening the mall door or the pharmacy, the gas station, you're opening those doors, try not to touch your face.
Right. Don't touch your face. Can I touch other people's faces?
Probably not the best idea.
Can I touch your face?
Consent?
Consent? Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Absolutely. Hilarious.
Thank you. All right. So, yeah, this story is not just a single story thing. Like, there's just so many aspects of the coronavirus topic right now. Is it or is it not a hoax? Is it real or is it not?
Is it a bioweapon?
Is it a bioweapon? Okay, then now who made it? Is it the U.S. to crash the Chinese economy, or is it a Chinese weapon?
Yeah, that it's the Chinese or the American deep state made it in some place in China, and China found out about it, and it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't with you. I can't with you. I saw a video that is like going around and it is a guy in a supermarket, and he's saying that he's trying to pick up a Lysol or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so he goes to the area that says it kills the flu and germs, things that cause, you know, so he says, and now people, I turn it around and look, I'll zoom in for you. And it zooms in and it says a lot of the things that it's known for killing. Coronavirus is on there. Mm-hmm. And because people are so woefully ignorant,
yeah,
he says, oh my gosh, how long have they known? This isn't new. It's a conspiracy. It's on this can. And I'm like, oh my God, people, there are between 60 and 70 coronaviruses known to man right now.
Including SARS.
It's not new. Right. And viruses are alive and they evolve. So there are always going to be new ones.
Right. Yes. So we are calling it the coronavirus, right? But
mm-hmm. it's got a name.
Yeah.
COVID.
Brantley said, COVID-19 is this one. I don't know if this one had a name. I had seen that. I'm not sure if we'll probably give it like a different name, like Corona Earl or something like that, or 9 Coronas, or I don't know, something great later. But COVID-19, Brantley says, and I believe. So this is a coronavirus. So if there's anything you can do to help the people around you understand what the coronavirus is, well, it is a coronavirus. It's the first thing you can do that will help people. Another thing you can do is, remind people just not touch their face. Mm-hmm. Wash your hands often, especially like if you go to the grocery store or if your kids are going to school, and pay attention to if it's near your area, right? See if there's any cases in your state. Okay,
CDC.
then we'll
CDC.com. Just type in the CDC. It will take you to,
Yes. So do a little research. Don't freak the fuck out because we don't need to. Like, we're logical primates, right? We can use our noggin and not freak out. We need to handle this responsibly because obviously our gods, the government, think that we can't fucking handle it.
Our overlords
don't think we can handle it, but we can't, right? If they can, we can. There's nothing special about people that we've elected or been
pray it away for us. So the lowly peasants, don't need to worry their sweet little heads about it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just pray it away, guys. Just pray it away.
Pray it away.
Pray away the COVID.
Oh, so
so anyways, this is annoying. This is annoying because the Chinese government handled this very poorly and are still handling this very, very poorly. The American government is handling this very poorly because they're not using the CDC, and they are. No. And from what I've heard, they've defunded the CDC. They're not even prepared.
The pandemic department that got built up over the last almost 12 years it's decimated. It doesn't even exist. It was something like, well, how can I pay all the multinational corporations and big billionaire, or more companies this tax cut? How can I do that? What can I get rid of? And one of those things on the chopping block was this pandemic. A group of smart people that their whole job was to think about a pandemic and what they could do to be the most prepared, to make sure the least amount of harm happens to the least amount of people. And that was their job. And that's not a job in this country right now.
Right. And honestly, and this is just my opinion, that I can see how people like Mike Pence or even Trump could think, look, we have God back in the government. It's like we don't have the Antichrist, Obama, in office. We're not going to be hit with a plague because we're supposed to be in charge anyways. God is protecting this country and our people. We don't need to spend money at the CDC.
On your Christian
we don't need to fund it. Right? Again, that is just my opinion, but it wouldn't surprise me if that went through.
It's so bad. Can't just wish stuff away, It's,
right. And that Trump called this a hoax just like an hour ago.
He's a hoax. His whole self is a hoax.
Also, there was someone else who was supposed to be in charge of this crisis. Remember the name? Mm-hmm. Did you hear? Mm-hmm. Actually, it was in the Democracy Now! Thing that you sent me. I want to say it was
I've just
taken a lot. Yeah, no, that's okay. I want to say their name was Avid or Avar. I can't remember their name. But they were supposed to be in charge of dealing with the coronavirus. It was a person who called back the cruise ship that they found that the coronavirus was on it last week, and they pulled it back because they didn't want it to spread to everyone. Mm-hmm. And that caused a big deal. That caused a fuss. People panicked about it. Trump didn't like that.
Right.
So he just he decided later that he wasn't going to choose that guy who was in more of an official position.
It makes him feel inadequate, or that he's not doing his job as well as he should or could. He immediately goes after the person that points it out instead of taking a step back and analyzing the situation, and maybe I am doing it wrong. Let me try something different. Let me, I apologize. And this is all new. I've never done this before. Most people would be like, actually, I really appreciate that he did that. He said, let me ask the professionals. Let me ask the people who have degrees in this, study this for a living. Let me ask them what they think I should do and say to protect the people I'm supposed to be representing, not what he does. I mean, I heard from Trump Jr. on Fox News that the Democrats and the radical left want as many people to die as possible so that they can say this was Trump's Katrina. And I'm like, what the fuck is really going on? That's not how any... Dude, nobody wants a whole bunch of people to die. I would rather have Trump for 4 more years than the coronavirus to come in and kill a whole bunch of Americans. Like, seriously, I don't want anybody to die. And that is not... And it wouldn't be necessarily his fault. Trump didn't bring it here, but it is how he handles it that's on his shoulders, you know. God. And he said it like he's bringing forth to the public in this news program, you know, factual information that this is what the Democrats and the radical left want. They want this disease to come in and decimate Americans so that they can say Trump did it wrong. And I'm like, oh God, that's so a fallacy. I don't know which one, maybe 2 or 3. It's so wrong. And then it's just, I don't have a better word, debacle. He's a bad person. Trump Jr. is a very, very bad person. He's a bad hombre, Stacey said.
No, yes, I agree. He's a bad. There's a bunch of bad hombres in the administration and beyond. All right, so I'm just going to kind of talk in circles at this point, so I'm okay with moving on from this topic. How about you?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
The thing is we don't know. So, you know, there's a lot that we don't know. And all that Mac and I could know about it, you could go to the health departments, you know, go through. Nacha lives in, you know, well, says he lives in Australia. So there's Australia, pick like Australia, France, UK, I don't know, Iran, just name one. Pick a few different countries, look up what they have, their departments have to say, their health departments, their equivalent to CDC and disease center, you know, and educate yourself and wash your hands and don't touch your face.
Don't ask politicians about science.
Right.
Ask the scientists who are relevant to that field.
Right.
All right, we can move on. Next up, Green New Deal. What you got on that, Christy?
Okay, so I am going to do the conservative and Democrat real quick, and then I'll go to the Green New Deal. So I'm going to share something in the chat because I know how with my new phone now. It was just difficult at first to learn a whole new system. And
nice.
Okay, so last week we brought you, you know, Democrats suck and Republicans suck. And I told you a story about both and they were equally sucky. So stupid and dumb and sucky. Well, this week I did conservative rocks and Democrat rocks. And it literally is, you know, the show Rising, you know, they're talking about the left populism and the right populism. Well, I had to search for it because I saw this story I'm about to bring you a year ago. And I remember Stacey getting home from work and going, look, there's this conservative that is right there with a wolf pack. He's like signed up. He's ready to get money out of politics. This is amazing. And it literally has populism written on the thumbnail. And this was a year ago. I just think that there's so much to that populism is, I mean, all these old school corporate media talking heads throughout the 2015, you know, election cycle, Trump would never win. Hillary's got this in the bag, and he won. And people who were on the ground, progressives even, were saying, no, Trump's going to win this. Like, nobody wants that. They don't want to go back. We want to go forward. And if you won't let them go forward, then they want to break it. So, and there was a lot of that. And so watch that. It's 8 minutes and 47 seconds long. And what I think is so wonderful about this is that, you know, we have more in common, myself included, with an honest conservative person than we have that separate us. Way more. And when it comes down to not like the football team, like when I think of a Trump rally, Stacey and I were just watching a few of them. It's like going to a sports arena. Everybody's wearing their sports team shirts and their sport teams hats and their sport foam hands, and it's a entertainment. It's weird, and it is a skewed version of populism, because he is not for the people or by the people, but it is a populism. It's just a end state, the state of ending capitalism, after unfettered capitalism, this end state strongman who ran in a false populist agenda. And there are many conservatives still today that when you sit down and you bring up, here's a policy, how do you feel about DNC not being able to fund the Democratic candidates? Well, they're conservative. They would love that. They think that's bullshit. Well, I feel the same way about both the Republicans and the Democrats. I don't think any of them should have any funding except for by the people, period. We need free and fair elections. And now if I were to come to a conservative and say, listen, how you think about that is wrong, we need free and fair elections, they're probably going to double down. But if you say, listen, how do you feel about Democrats not having this? How do you feel about the DCCC not being able to buy people? They're going to agree. And I love that. So this video just showed this particular conservative is gung-ho about Wolfpack. And many in Wolfpack have a huge variety of ideologies. They all want money out of politics. So this week, both left, right, middle, far left, far right, if they're an honest, which there probably wouldn't be any far right if they're honest, but that's just my bias. Right. I just don't, far right to me is authoritarian and dictatorship, and obviously they're going to lie to get their way.
Yeah, far right tends to go far up as well.
Right. Yeah. So I just think that's amazing to me. I love that.
I have real quick. Can we break for a story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me butt into your space and touch your face. Boop. All right. Now, moving on.
Did you just move me?
Maybe, if you should have been looking. You could have gotten away. No. So, I have a friend who is very conservative. More than conservative, he is very capitalist. And he was giving me the kind of like the third degree, because he knows I'm a Bernie supporter, and he has seen over the last couple of weeks that he's taken the lead. And he's like, I'm going to take all my money out and put it in an account in the Cayman Islands and all this stuff. And I don't need to tell you the whole conversation. There's one part of the conversation though that I thought was really, really, really interesting, and I think you guys will like. And it is, he was asking me, how is Bernie going to pay for this? How is he going to pay for that? How is he going to pay for free college? How is he going to pay for health? He can't do it. It's just not in the budget. I'm like, well, it is in the budget. We would just have to like cut back on the military. And well, no. I'm like, well, yeah, no. You've told me that every time I say it. Right. Anyways, well, then what do you think we should do about people needing education, jobs, all that stuff?
Right.
So what he suggested, I shit you not.
Oh no.
Was
prepare yourself.
Yeah, prepare yourself. He's like, I think we should just teach everyone a trade. Give them like 4 years. And
who's going to pay for that?
Right. Well, yeah. I'm just like, all right. So you're saying like the government like funds this to like help them learn a trade, so they can do things. He's like, yeah, have the government fund this, teach them a trade so they can do something be useful. I don't want them just like sitting there just
Right.
you know on like food stamps or what the fuck ever, right? It's like, okay, all right. Now what about people who like have childcare or like need childcare? Like, would we pay for that too? He's like, yeah, sure, yeah, that seems fair, because he doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't think that everyone is equal, but we agreed that they should have equal opportunity. I'm like, all right, so you know, how do we solve this? And he was coming up with this, just like, well, you teach everyone a trade, you give them 4 years. If they don't want to can do it after that, well, then you cut off their benefits. And I'm just like, okay, fine. But like again, I like got him to like give childcare for the whole time so they could actually be successful and do the thing.
Right.
So he was like, yeah.
And the government's going to pay for the 4 years of training, the child care, the food, the housing, the everything.
Well, I don't know if they're going to pay for food and housing, but at least the free education and the free child care. I didn't make him agree on that. He proposed that. And I'm just like, I do agree with that social word I'm looking for, program, to do that. I would support that. But he doesn't understand that's a left idea.
Right. And that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like you would
it's not just a trade.
And they wouldn't be going under Bernie's plan. He's not going to be paying for college for everyone forever. They will finish school at some point and then they won't need that anymore. Like he's saying 4 years, some people will only go for 2. Some people will go for 12, depending on what they want to do. And I think that, you know, as a parent, you want your kids to be able to follow their dreams. You want them to be able to get the education they want. You want them to be healthy. You want them to be happy. I feel like leaders should have that want for the people they're representing, or get the fuck out. Like, I don't know how else. Why do you want to be a leader and represent tens of thousands of people if you don't even care about them? Like, why are you doing this? Because they make 250 or more a year, guaranteed to be lobbying and making millions in a couple? Is that why you're doing it? Is it because of power? Because those are the people we need to get out, left, right, or in the middle. I don't care. If you are corporate bot, it's time to get out of politics. I think that they know that that's coming too.
I hope so. I wanted to give you that little tidbit, because when this conversation was happening, I'm like, I'm sharing this on the show. I have to tell everyone. But also, you had just mentioned that, I mean, if you talk about policy issues with someone on the right.
Yeah, policy issues, yes.
Right. Not only sometimes do they agree that, you know, this is a problem, sometimes they have the same solutions or very similar.
Yep.
Crazy. I shit you not, right? So, yeah.
That's why it's so dangerous for corporate media to nourish that narrative. You know, they cannot bring on people who will, like Nina Turner just last week. I can't remember who was talking to her. She was on MSNBC, I think. They had tried to gotcha questions with her. And, you know, so you're trying to say Bloomberg is buying the election, but is it Bernie buying the election by promising free health care, by promising this? I mean, these are things that he is buying them with policies. And she was like, I see what you're trying to do there. I'm not going to let you do that. No, Bernie isn't taking his own money and buying, you know, half well, it's not $500 million, but $500 almost $1 million in just ads, and then, you know, subverting democracy. Facebook had demolished there were no longer allowed on Facebook political memes, period. They had got rid of it. Bloomberg decides that he wants to start up a little group of meme makers to make political memes that he thinks are funny. I think they're trash. Facebook says, oh okay, because they're not going to say no to, $300 million. They're just not. And so that is buying an election. Bernie using policy that he fights for, that he stands by, that he writes, that he has been wanting to do his entire adult life for this country, is not buying the election. And so they need to control the narrative so strong that we, the people, do not hear about policy, do not talk about policy. And I've heard more than a few times in just the last couple months, talking heads on corporate media saying it's not about policy, it's about blah blah blah. It's not about policy. About when the progressives were trying to tell the DCCC that we don't really care for Hillary's policies. That's not it, you're sexist. That's not it, you don't want a woman in the White House.
That is what I just said.
Oh, it's so aggravating. It's so aggravating because they cannot talk about policies, because their policies of doing whatever the fuck they want. Going to Bolivia. Are you guys aware that a new article has just come out with all of this evidence? Independent group of investigators decided to investigate Bolivia. And all of the information that came back, and I can talk about this next week, I can bring it up in depth if you would like. I would love to. So all of the information came back that everything corporate media, CNN, Fox News, everything that they told us that happened in Bolivia was untrue, that it was what the left media was saying, that it is a coup d'etat, that the election, there were no problems in the election, that the who had to flee for his life, that he was winning the election, and that it was completely democratic, and that there weren't problems. It is insane that someone we should trust. When I think about media or journalists or journalism, to me that is speaking truth to power. That is somebody who says, I need to find out the truth of this, whether it agrees with my politics or not. I need to know the truth, and I need to inform the public. That is their job, is to inform the public. And then, there's that study that was done 3.5, 4 years ago. They had just brought it up on the news this week again. Was the study, the results of the study showed that if you watched Fox News if you watched Fox News 5 hours a day, just an average 5 hours a day, you knew less about politics and policy than if you watched zero news. And that's not okay. It's not okay. And so I'm finding, and I'm sure a lot of you are too, that MSNBC is in the pocket of the DCCC. Like, it is the propaganda arm for the DCCC. Fox News is the propaganda arm for the Republican Party, the GOP. And CNN says it's in the middle, but it is funded by all the same people. And it is so important to find at least 3 or 4, or like me, 12 or 20 sources that bring you information that is from an investigative journalist, somebody who knows their job is to find out the truth and to inform the public. An informed electorate is a powerful thing. And this country has been at war. The institutions of democracy in our country have been at war with truth and honesty and an informed electorate. They do not want an informed electorate. Less than 50% or 52% is the normal. So right less than 50 and right at 52% is the normal amount of citizens in this country that vote in a presidential election. Not 2 years later, that one even less, sometimes 30% of the country votes. No, it is time for not to do that anymore. I know that wasn't proper English. That's how upset. Like, we cannot be dinglings anymore. We have to follow by, for, and of, it says that we are the government. And if we don't get involved and if we don't pay attention, then we are not the government anymore. We have overlords. We are an oligarchy. We are an oligarchy. The wealthy run this country, and they have set up the system to make sure that they stay in power. And it has always been like that here. It's not like they just assumed that power. They have always had that power. Our Constitution, our founding papers, you know, if you, Stacey and I were talking about this, you can go read the debates between our founding fathers when they were writing our founding documents. And there's this debate back and forth of, we have to protect the minority over the majority. They called it mob rule. They needed to protect the small amount of wealthy elite because there are way more of these people, and they need to know that they can't take what they have. And I agree, no one should take anything from anyone, but they've solidified this into almost plutocracy. You know, these very, very wealthy institutions like the DCCC and the GOP, and with wealthy individuals owning the media and having a very strong ideology, also being oligarchs on top of it, we're in a dangerous place. And I can't say that, you know, we're losing our democracy. A lot of our actual democracy, and this isn't hyperbolic, has been lost. It is lost. We are not a full democracy. We have been graded by the International Democracy Grading System as flawed democracy now 2 years in a row. We've never had flawed democracy until 2016. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have. I'm saying that we had free press, 100% free press, as far as people that were allowing the public to know what their government was doing weren't necessarily automatically arrested. You know, and that's definitely what is happening now. We are, when I was growing up, I would hear about Russia doesn't let their journalists talk, which they don't. You know, they will arrest you. You can't say whatever you want. In China, you cannot talk about the dear leader in a bad way. You cannot. And if Trump had his way, no one would be able to hurt his thin skin. He would lock them up immediately. And he thinks that it's better to have your intelligence, the leader of intelligence, be loyal to you than understand intelligence or even have experience in it. So we are at a spot in our country, a very young country, where it's time where the 370 million people in this country say we are the 99%. We don't agree ideologically. We don't agree religiously. We don't agree on a lot of things. But we do agree that you cannot take our democracy from us. Period. I will stand side by side with any person's ideology that agrees that these things that we hold to be true, self-evident, are more important than ideology. I will never pick party over country. I'll never pick country over human. Like, that's dumb. I think humans are the right. Yeah, I don't think that, you know, like that's a smart thing to do. We need to evolve. We need to care.
Right. I think, and going back to the coronavirus for just a second here.
Yeah.
I want to point out something that annoys the fuck out of me is when pundits or hosts on Fox News say that we need to block all Chinese residents from coming.
They're like, oh, I get to be
America because the coronavirus is going to kill Americans. Just that, even last part, just the last part, that the coronavirus is going to kill Americans. That annoys me. Yeah. That annoys me more than almost anything else because
think about that, Max.
Tribalism.
That right there is the identical thing that happened with the Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh, that Japanese plane bombed this, so let's round them all up because they're all guilty. That's the same mentality, but how many years later?
Right, and
almost 100.
And there's been a handful of kids, high schoolers, middle schoolers, even I think younger. If they look Chinese and they cough, like kids pick on them because they think they have the coronavirus. It's really sad that we can't act more grown up about things like this, because it really is hurtful to those people who are being bullied for something that they have nothing to do with at all. The other thing I wanted to point out with that is I failed to mention something with the coronavirus. Just a list of stats real quick. There are over 83,000 global cases confirmed. The death toll stands over 2,800. Monaco, Iceland, and Mexico all recorded their first cases. South Korea reports hundreds of cases. I'm reading this from Twitter. Italy places 50,000 people in quarantine. Again, the quarantine thing. Also, I forgot to mention, which I heard today. I think it was today. Schools closed across Japan. That's universities, schools, and so, somewhere they banned public gatherings. I think it's South Korea. They also closed schools, childcare, and public gatherings. And to build on to what I was just talking about, I can't see all the flags. There is a graphic here. I will just, it's the first one down. If you guys click on the link I'm about to give you. This is from Twitter. It breaks down how many countries and how many cases each country has confirmed so far. So there's China with 78,961 cases. There's South Korea with 2,337 cases, and then it goes down, all the way to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 countries with just one case. So it goes all the way down the list. The reason I feel like I need to point that out now is because I was just talking about the tribalism. We're so worried about the U.S., who's almost halfway down the list with 59 cases. I heard 64, but it says 59 cases here. But I don't want our reaction to be like, we need to keep people away. It's going to kill Americans. We need to be like, hey, we're America. We're the best country in the world. How do we help solve this global crisis? Because we're a part of this globe here, this global spherical thing that we all have to live on together, regardless of whether we like each other or not. I hate hearing the tribalistic aspects. It makes me real sick, and it makes me really annoyed. And it makes me hate nationalism in any way when I hear stuff like that. It's just like, protect us. Well, yeah, fuck everyone else, because that's the American attitude, but it shouldn't be, because that doesn't make us the greatest country on earth. And if you think so, then we just disagree. But if our attitude is fuck everyone else, then we're just not the greatest nation on earth.
That's the opposite of humanism.
It is the opposite of humanism. Sorry, I went on a humanist preaching spree. So
I like it.
Did you have more leftist rock, or did you want to move on to Green New Deal?
Green New Deal.
Okay. All right.
All right. So I like to read the bills when they come out. You know, the Medicare for All bill. I like to read the it's not a bill. Green New Deal is not a bill. It's a resolution. I like to read it. So I had read it when I first started hearing about it, I wanted to know, and I've been, every time someone talks about what they hate about it, I'm watching it like, I read it. What are they? That's not even in it. I don't know what the fuck are they talking about. So I love AOC. I just think she is just such a good person. She's smart. She's sassy, but she's sassy in a way that's like, here are the facts, and I'll read them slowly for you, but I'll read them on the Senate floor or the House floor so that they go into congressional record, since you guys don't know what you're talking about. And she did. It is 14 pages. It takes about 15 minutes to read. So she used her time, I will share it with you, on the floor to read the Green New Deal. And I thought, that's how I would do it. I would say, well, you guys want to keep arguing about it, but what you're telling me, what you don't like about it, is stuff that's not in it. So it's like, we can't have an honest discourse. We can't, have a dialogue. We can't have a basic conversation, even one where people disagree in our politics today, because one is dishonest, or both or dishonest. And if there's only one person that's coming to it with the facts as I know them, and here's the proof to show them, and no one else cares about it, we can't evolve as a people, as a society. We can't. I love that she did this, because now all they have to do is listen for 14 minutes. And if it isn't worth 14 minutes to listen, if you're a senator or a congressman or a mayor or just a voter who wants to be informed, okay, you didn't want to read it. Okay, whatever. Like, I'm not going to judge you. There might be many reasons, but you can freaking listen to it. So I love,
especially if you want to talk about it.
Yes. And she is a great communicator. She reads it very well. She reads it fast. So if you want to slow it down, on YouTube, you slow it down. If you want to speed it up, if you want to hear her
speed it up.
Yeah, it's fun. But it's a 20-minute video, but she doesn't start reading it until, a few minutes in, because it's like a 15 minutes worth of reading. I love that she did this. And so for anyone who has 15 minutes, you're walking to the bus, you're at break at work, you get a 15-minute break, just listen. It's wonderful. And you'll know what's in the Green New Deal. Yeah. Verbatim.
Awesome. I think the Intercept spoken edition also pretty. I think they read the whole Green New Deal, but that was like back.
Yes.
Ooh, excuse me. I want to say it was like in October or earlier. Yeah. But this is awesome. It's so nicer to have this because it will cause much more attention than the Intercept. So yeah, that's news to me. I didn't know about it. That's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Cool. All right. Are we ready for our next and last topic?
We are.
Oh boy. All right. Now the fun stuff. All right. So we have election news.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. First thing, Elizabeth Warren started taking PAC money, super PAC money, because of course she did.
Yes.
She only
and she did it sneakily. So listen, they started paying her before, when she said she didn't have any, because the way that it works is you have a deadline to turn in who's giving you money, and that was after she had to say if she was taking any super PAC money. So she said she wasn't, and then those papers came out saying who she was getting money from, which it wasn't on there because that was from then. But the next one is going to have it on there, and it's going to show that she had it when she said she didn't. You sneaky snake.
Yep, sneaky snake. Also, what's really annoying about
Elizabeth
this.
Warren.
Very nice, Christy. That was sly. All right. You're killing me. All right. So another thing that's really annoying about this is how she likes to boister herself up when she's doing something stupid. Like,
yes.
look, I told all of the other candidates that we should not accept PAC money, right? I said that, and now Amy and I are the only ones not taking any PAC money, throwing Bernie under the bus.
Super PAC
like
money.
The Sunrise Movement
Yes.
and a teachers union counts.
And yes, in a union.
PAC money.
But he stands for unions.
Yeah.
You know, like that's.
It's not the same.
No.
Yeah, it's not a corporate PAC. Anyways, so there's so she acts like it's one, a sexist thing. It's only her and
that was
Amy.
gross.
Yeah, and two, she comes back and says, "Look, if they'd all do it, then I'll lead the PAC." Like one, you wouldn't lead the PAC because Bernie would.
Right.
One, two, you wouldn't lead the PAC because if everyone else is doing it and you just want to take credit for it, that's not really leading.
Mm-mm.
And three,
following by definition.
Yeah, and three, again, you wouldn't lead the PAC because Bernie would, and what I just said, and you just fell back on, unless really everyone's just not going to do it, then I'm not going to do it either.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way are you leading this movement amongst the candidates. You're just not. It is as funny as it is infuriating. So, like, I was telling Lindsay just the other day that the more I hear about Elizabeth Warren, the more I dislike her. It's like, kind of like Joe Biden. The more you hear about Joe Biden, the more you're going to dislike him. We're not going to vote for him. That's what I heard when the campaign started. But the more I hear about Biden, the more sorry I feel like for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's morally repugnant for anyone in his campaign to let him continue to campaign because it's just hurting his persona. Like, he deserves a lot of it, but a lot of it he doesn't. He probably has like early onset dementia. It's sad.
I think so.
Elizabeth Warren is doing
sad.
Is funny and stupid.
Yeah, he gets so cranky. He doesn't remember what he's saying. He doesn't know where he is. It
lashes out.
Yes. And for Warren, my genuine opinion is I don't want to dislike her. She is a beast when it comes to big banks. She is a beast when it comes to Wall Street. She knows how to get things done. And my genuine opinion on her, if she could drop out and get behind Bernie, that would save her reputation. I mean, 100%. It would. All of the things that she did that made us go, oh, quit being why? I thought you weren't this person. I thought you were genuinely progressive, which I feel like she was. And then, I mean, there's been things that she is corporate on, but for the most part, an American progressive is different than like a progressive. It's still more center. Right. So she's got that
want to win.
No, and she keeps harping on but I am a capitalist. Bernie is a freaking capitalist too. So is Denmark, a capitalist country. We just want our mixed economy, which we have now, which Denmark has, to have stronger safety nets and more policies that benefit the people. That's it. And she knows that. And so the only way that she can fix the damage she's done to her reputation as a person, not just a candidate, as a person, would be to get behind Bernie. He'd probably make her his VP.
I think on top of that, he needs to actually apologize. Like, I know that's something that like people say a lot and like you shouldn't expect it. But in her case, I think she really should apologize for some of that bullshit and then get behind Bernie, because otherwise it's just going to be, if she doesn't apologize, it's still just going to feel two-faced the whole time.
Yep.
And if you can admit you're wrong, you can be forgiven for that. But if you don't, then it's just like, I remember not liking her in 4 years.
Right. Well, I mean, she hired all of these Hillary Clinton campaign people. She hired a few Obama campaign people. Most of them are Hillary Clinton, DCCC, the establishment.
That Kamala used.
Yeah, and so, you know, they I'm sure have all of these, you know, rooms where they get people together and they ask them questions and, you know, which one worked better with them. And so it's all like they think they're doing things the way that it should be done because they're doing all of these tests and, you know, paying for rooms of people to come in and eat and they ask them questions. And why don't you just go talk to the people? Like, why do you have to buy a situation and put people artificially in it? I understand that's the way it was, but now we all have these and we can see things with our own eyes. We can share things amongst each other. We can find out, like Mayor Pete showing up at that McDonald's 15 protest and they're halfway done marching and he wants to get in and get a photo op with these workers, McDonald's and other workers that won a $15 minimum. He wants a photo op. So he gets behind their banner with them, using his mic, using talking points, and you start not being able to hear him. Because what you're hearing is the crowd saying, you can't be my president. Where was 15 in South Bend? You can't be my president. Where was 15? And I was just like, and this little dumb white boy goes running as fast as, just power walking as fast as he can to his car with people around him. No, you can't get near him. Oh, I was like, you little pussy. Like, I can't.
You wonder why the rat memes.
Right.
I wonder.
And then knowing
the snake
that
memes
he worked in intelligence. He is the intelligence apparatus's choice. That should tell you right there, no. No. We're trying to get away from militarization.
Yeah, we're trying. So, so that's some stuff. Other election news is escaping me right at this moment.
Bloomberg.
Because Bloomberg. Oh,
Bloomberg. Gosh. Okay, Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Mr. Bloomberg. He said a lot of things that were untrue. Yeah,
can I real quick? Because I was listening to, because I mention her all the time, June.
Yeah, I love her.
Say, Michael Bloomberg, billionaire oligarch, Trump but not funny. Okay, go on. Just Trump but not funny. Tickled me. It tickled me so good.
My favorite thing that June does makes me die. I have to pause the video because I can't hear what else she's saying. It was when she's like, "Hell world."
Hell world.
It's my favorite.
Yes.
Hell world.
All of it.
All right. When he was the mayor, he illegally spied on over 250 different Muslim institutions, mosques, businesses, families. He even went into, when Cory Booker was the mayor of a city, they went into that city without his permission. They didn't even let him know that they were doing this. And during the debate, he said, right, but when we found out that it was doing, bad things, we stopped it. You're an effing liar.
But judges said it was okay.
No.
Judges say it.
That's not true, Bloomberg. You know that. They made him stop because it was unconstitutional. They said that any surveilling without reason and a warrant is constitutionally illegal. Like, you can't do that. That is freedom in our country. That is Saudi Arabia crazy to just, we don't like them, so let's spy on everyone. Let's infiltrate everyone.
This was after 9/11, and
I get it.
He thought it was
go back to the Japanese. Let's just round them all up and go stick them in an institution somewhere, because that's the mentality. And I'm sorry, it's 2020. We've learned from our mistakes, right, America? Right? I'm not saying
like to think so.
Safe. We can be safe. We can take care of people. We can protect them from extremists. Whether they're Muslim extremists, right-wing extremists, Christian extremists, it doesn't matter. An extremist is wrong, and we should protect each other from them. But just because most of our terrorism in this country is right-wing terrorism. It's like 70% of terrorist attacks in this country happen from right-wing terrorists. I don't want every white institution to be infiltrated. I don't think that's appropriate. I think that's wrong. And we should have a reason and a warrant before we spy on someone. And the only reason he stopped was because he had to by law. They went after him and he fought it. The Central Park Five, those 5 boys that got locked up and lost years of their lives, they wanted to be made whole. Like, they deserve some sort of compensation. Mike Bloomberg fought them. He nickeled and dimed them. He made sure that it would just keep going and going for as long as possible without them just being apologized to and made whole. That's all they needed to do. He fought that all the way. He is not a good person.
He's a bad dude.
A very bad person. Yeah, he's a monster. And
I've had to say, like multiple times this week, he may be worse than Trump. He may be.
Listen, he might not be worse than Trump as far as sounding goes. Trump's an ignoramus. But that's where he's worse than Trump, because he is actually smart. He is actually smart. He knows how and has done so many massively illegal things to stomp on the human rights of our American brothers and sisters. And he does not feel sorry for them.
Right.
He did the right thing. He made certain drinks, Big Gulps, illegal. How authoritarian is that?
That's pretty authoritarian.
Right. I don't think anyone should have them. So banned. No, we do not want his crazy ass.
No. We don't need like a different kind of extremist like Michael Bloomberg or Mike Pence. We need a moderate like
Michael
Bernie Sanders.
Bloomberg is a transphobe.
Actual moderate.
Right. Yeah. Michael Bloomberg is also a big transphobe. He is not just on audio, but video saying on a stage that, you know, I don't want to explain to people or have to tell a father that your precious daughter, your little daughter has to go into a bathroom with men who dress like women waiting to attack them, or some dumb shit that's never happened.
Okay, then why don't we just like not let men in there like that? And then at the same time, then they're still scared of like having co-op bathrooms or family bathrooms or having other like genderless bathrooms. Like, okay, what if we just solve that problem? Well, that's not the problem. Then stop making that stupid fucking argument.
Right.
That's not the problem.
Tactic. It's a fear tactic.
It's a fear tactic.
Right. It's not. There's so much wrong with this election cycle. And, you know, money is primarily the problem, because we have, you know, a debate system that is for ratings. It is for gotchas and clips and, you know, what they can argue about and switch around and make fit their narrative the next day. And it is, you know, this last debate, the tickets to the debate were between $1,750 to $3,200 each. I can't afford that. I couldn't go to a debate like that ever, probably. I would, even if I like could manage to save that for a special occasion, it would be to do something with my family, or, you know, build something for my family. Like, I wouldn't spend that. You know who can spend that? Wealthy people. And that's why we could hear people booing a progressive statement, whether it came out of Bernie or Warren's mouth, and then cheering when Bloomberg said something that nobody in the right mind would cheer for. Like, it was just, that's who was in there. That's who has control. And then I also, this week, for politics, there were, let's see, do I even have, I'm sure I have the picture. I want to make sure that I say it correctly. Yes. Okay. So during the the debates, and they asked everybody, would you want to follow the will of the people, essentially? Do you want to follow what the people want, or will you subvert democracy? They said different words, but that was the meaning of the question.
Do you mind if I clarify on the words, if I can?
Yes, go for it.
I think I can. Do you want the convention to work its will? Do you want the DNC, because they have agreed, say in quotations, because this is the best we could get out of them, for super delegates? Do you want super delegates to work their will at the convention if we have a contested primary, right? So that is saying, do you want elected officials or appointed officials, because super delegates are appointed, correct?
Super delegates, yes.
Yes, they're appointed officials. Do you want them to choose who the nominee is if there's any kind of contested contest? Or do you want the person who has the most votes? Do you want the popular vote?
Do you want democracy, or do you want the opposite?
Right.
All right.
For any Hillary Clinton supporters out there, what did you want when Trump won?
Oh yeah, they all wanted the popular vote. This is the democracy. Oh my God, the Russians! You take my 3 million.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not making fun.
I remember all of that.
Yeah, and we're not making fun of the statement. We're making fun of the inconsistency.
Right.
To be clear.
Now I follow Jordan Cheriton on Twitter.
Okay, who's that?
Jordan did work at TYT for a little while, and he is the journalist that broke the Flint, Michigan story.
Oh.
Right.
What's his name again?
He has his own channel called Status Coup.
Okay, I know who that is.
All right.
Could you say his name one more time for me? Because I don't
Jordan,
think
Jordan, Cheriton, Chariton, and it's at Jordan Cheriton, capital J, capital C. Now,
I'm gonna follow you, Jordan.
He tweeted on MSNBC, former advisor to Barack Obama, Anton J. Gunn, says the quiet part out loud. The elites of the Democratic Party decide the nominee, not voters. Quote, this is what the former advisor to Barack Obama says. Quote, the party decides its nominee. The public doesn't really decide the nominee. Super delegates are very influential in the party.
Yeah, he said the quiet part out loud.
Right. So, my comrades and brothers and sisters, you need to be telling everyone you can that we need to fight for Bernie like we are 15 points behind at all times, because if he wins overwhelmingly, they cannot do this. There will be riots in the street. Yeah. There will not be a contested convention if he gets the most everywhere. And so it would be a contested convention if it was Bernie's at, here, and Warren's here, and Biden's here, and Buttigieg is here. They would fight. But if Warren's here and everyone else is down here, we pretty much got it. Right. I really don't think, as Nomiki had said, don't lose sight. They want to throw all these things in your face that, the New York Times did that huge report where they talked to 97 super delegates out of the almost 800 or 1,000 super delegates that there are. They talked to 97 of them, or 93 of them, I think one of those numbers. And only 9 out of that 97 or 93, only 9 said that it should go to the person that has the most. Only 9. These other people were saying it should go to people who aren't even running. They're in la la land.
And these are the conservatives. And these are the conservatives, right? Because the Democrats wouldn't be against democracy, right?
Their name is Democrats. You would think that they would care about democracy.
Say it isn't so.
Say
Say it isn't so.
We have the Republic. We have a Democratic Republic. We have Democrats and Republicans. They're supposed to be oppositions.
And we have Democratic Republicans.
Right. That's what we have is Democratic Republicans. I know.
God damn it.
I know. God damn it. So let me just say that one more time. The party decides its nominee.
Say it again.
The public doesn't really decide the nominee. Superdelegates are very influential in the party, said former advisor to Barack Obama. So, you know, they want to throw all this stuff. And Nomiki said that if I will share that with you guys too, because I really think it's like a public announcement that she shares. It's so good. It's so important. I love that she shares it. I think that she is such a smart person, and she's very not just smart, informed, and she's in the mix of all this. You know, she's part of this system. She was on the floor during the delegate taking of Bernie Sanders in 2016. She's a part of all of this. She's in it day in and day out. And I don't think that, you know, she has so much to offer us when it comes to information, and her opinion holds weight. So when she says, don't worry so much, you know, don't stress out. We do have to fight, like Bernie is 15 points behind, so that we make sure that a contested convention doesn't happen. However, don't let them control the narrative, because it is looking like Bernie is going to be the nominee. And that's why they want to make everyone feel like he isn't, so they're not sure, and maybe then they can sway those not sure votes. You know, right. I will find her, I promise. No, Miki, where are you? I have a lot that my brain consumed.
Okay.
No, Miki.
I can fill in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Another thing. Elizabeth Warren. Back to her again. Something else she said this week was, because she had to defend her position on this after her answer. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to continue, or do you want to?
No, go for it.
Okay. She was asked a question at one of her rallies. You know, why do you basically want to, you know, subvert democracy by letting superdelegates, you know, overthrow the popular vote? And her answer was a politician answer. It shouldn't surprise you. It was, well, you do know that this was Bernie's position in 2016, right? She didn't answer the question at all.
Yeah.
At all. She gave a 2-minute talk at him saying, this is what Bernie wanted. Bernie totally wanted this, and I wasn't in whatever party that made this decision, but he was in the room, and that's what they decided on. And we all decided on it before we knew what was going to happen, and now that it's going to maybe help him, he's against it. He's against it now, right, because the popular vote would just help him.
Right. And if you guys watch that, what I just shared by Nomiki Konst, you will see what Mac just said is a lie. Nomiki was there. What happens in when they had that unity convention, we will always have these conventions, because the point is to be a more equal republic, to be a better democracy over years, to when something doesn't work, to change it. And because we, the people, didn't like the delegates and superdelegates, and there were lots of problems with subverting democracy, they had a unity convention. And in this convention, Bernie Sanders and the progressives, many of them, wanted 0 delegates, to get rid of that. Like, no more delegates. And the other side wanted delegates in the first vote and the second vote. So they compromised.
What?
Right. So when she says Bernie was there and wrote these, he was not happy with the ending. He was not happy with what they got, but it was better than what they had. And incremental betterment of a nation is still betterment, and he is no dummy. So when he says
signed the crime bill,
he doesn't want to say that she's lying because he is too kind, and she's not telling the truth. She's leaving things out, but she will call Bernie a liar when something that happened 8 years ago, allegedly, when they were alone and Bernie told her that a woman couldn't win the presidency. We don't know what context. 8 years later, she's like, you know what makes me mad about Bernie? That one time.
That one
Hell world!
Yeah, so it's total bullshit. And even if she was right, and Bernie was for that in 2016, and she's not, but let's say she is, for argument's sake, she still didn't answer the question.
Nope.
Even if Bernie was for that, she could be against it, and then she'd be right, and I would be happy with it.
See, that's where we need more responsible moderators. We just do. That was so
someone needs to fucking body slam Pete Buttigieg when you won't shut the fuck up. That's a responsible moderator.
Wait your turn, soldier. It was inept. You know, when someone like Warren won't answer that question but brings up Bernie, you know, and that's when that's the moderator's job to say, great, I'll ask Bernie that question. I'm asking you that question, not what Bernie did. I need to know what you did. That is acceptable. You know, every question they have for Bernie is asked a way that no matter what he says, it's got a tinge of communism or fear, you know. Whenever someone else is asked a question, like Bernie doesn't get asked policy questions. He doesn't get asked questions like, what would you do for blah, blah, blah. He just doesn't, because they cannot, going back to what I said, you know, 5-10 minutes ago, they cannot let policy be the communication that they're giving us, because the country would go, we do all agree on that. We really should have that. They cannot. And Bernie is a policy guy, so they ask him feelings and emotions questions from like a gotcha standpoint, and everyone else gets these questions that Bernie's not even allowed to answer. You know, and it's just so frustrating. We knew this was going to happen. We really did. If you weren't prepared for this, then you weren't paying attention. And I don't feel like it's over. I feel like it's just begun. As soon as he makes that candidate, once he is acknowledged and given the candidacy, you're gonna see some crazy red baiting. You're gonna see some they call him radical. The things they're about to do to him are gonna be radical. Do you remember when Trump called what's his name, God, I can't remember his name, but said his dad killed JFK? Like, that's the crazy shit. We're gonna hear some the president, our president today, said somebody who's in our Senate, who was running for president as well, father killed JFK. Like, just said it was a thing.
Jesus Christ.
No, but that's where it's gonna happen, guys. Strap in, buckle up, and get ready to stay informed and be able to keep people on a policy conversation. Say, sure, we don't have to talk about Bernie right or left. Who cares? Let's have a nonpartisan, what do you think about giving people this, or, how do you feel about corruption in either party? And if they're really, really conservative, you can turn it all around on Democrats. They're doing tons of shit wrong. How do you feel about fixing this in the Democratic Party? How do you feel about not allowing them to buy or corrupt? How do you feel? And they're going to feel like that's wrong, and they want to change it because duh. And keep it policy. We got this. We do.
And just like Christy said, we knew this was going to happen. Like, if you look up like today's date on Secular Talk, but a year ago, you'll find nothing, because the 29th wasn't last year. It's just this year. But if you look up the 28th of February of last year, again, on Secular Talk, you will most likely hear Kyle talking about Bernie and what they did last time, because this is around the time that he announced he was running. This was talked about, and we knew this was coming. Yep. So, and again, as Christy said, strap on and unbuckle, because shit's coming.
It is coming, and it's going to get really, really crazy. The amount of propaganda, we have the wealthiest country in the history of everdom, like ever. And that wealth is where the power is, at right now. And they don't want to lose power, even if it means a more equal society, even if it means they won't feel that loss financially because they are so loaded, it won't even feel it. They don't care. To the entitled elite, equality to them feels like you're taking something away from them, not that you're giving other people what they have to. I love that the union workers, just recently, the Pete Buttigieg and Warren tried to say this particular union of culinary workers was against Bernie because they didn't want to lose the healthcare they had negotiated so hard for, which they had negotiated so hard for. But this was the union leadership talking to Buttigieg and Warren, not the union members. When the union members got with Bernie, they said, yeah, we negotiated hard and we love our healthcare. But they have family members and loved ones and friends who don't have healthcare. And that union wouldn't have to negotiate with their bosses anymore. So all of that money that would be going to healthcare from the business and the union won't anymore. Won't. So now what do? Now you negotiate for a higher wage. That's what you do. And you get one because you're safe. Even if they give everyone a raise, they're still saving so much money because they're not paying for healthcare anymore. So it is a win-win. It's not taking things away from you. It's giving everyone the things that you love and have, but even more than you love and have right now with mental health, dental health. Most healthcare don't have dental. You have to pay extra for that. Vision. Hearing. It should. Health is health. Your overall health, whether it's visual, in your mouth, your gums are connected to your blood system and your heart. People who don't floss, there's a saying at a dentist here in Tampa. They always have really great sayings that they put out on their board. And one of them said, only floss the teeth you want to keep. I love that because, taking care of these things, we only get one set. It is healthcare. You will die if you don't take care of your teeth. You can die. An infected tooth can kill you. So it only makes sense.
Let me put it to everyone like this. And I know, we're preaching to the choir most of the time, but you can use this in conversation. Do you think you spend less? Do you think you spend more when you catch cancer early, or if you are too afraid to go to the hospital and you don't catch it until it's too late?
So it's too late.
Which is more expensive, right? Do you think it's more expensive to find out you're having trouble with your eyes and try to have it fixed? Or do you think it's more expensive to be blind and have to pay for social services and someone to help you around? Preventative care is incredibly important. Yes. Not just for your health, but also for the economy, because it takes more resources for you to correct a serious problem or work around a serious issue that you have. Way too fucking long. We will spend less on healthcare if all those people flood the hospital at one time.
Right.
Everyone's worried about. Because I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's not.
But it's but if people start getting preventative care, we'll have smaller problems to deal with sooner, and just less serious problems to deal with later.
Yes. We just lost somebody. A few weeks ago, we lost a family member. Her name is Bethy, and she wasn't even 40. She didn't have insurance, hadn't had insurance for years. And so she's not getting checkups every 6 months. She's not going to the dentist every 6 months. That's suggested by professional health caregivers, that every 6 months you go to the dentist and get a cleaning, to make sure that nothing builds up, to make sure that you catch things before you need a root canal. A cavity filling is, even without insurance, way cheaper than a root canal, which is, $2,500 minimum. And that's not with the perfect cap afterwards. That's just the root canal. So, insurance is so important. And our friend Bethy, was really, really sick. And so she went to the doctors at the hospital and was told that she had stage 4 breast cancer. And we just lost her. We just lost her 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. She went to bed and never woke up. 38, 39 years old. Had she had health care, like only a certain amount of people in this country can afford to have, this wouldn't be, because it would have been found out and aggressively gone after instead of stage 4. It's just unacceptable. I care about humans and people, and I would rather them have a chance to have a chance, instead of, if you can afford it, you can have a chance. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, no.
Right.
No.
So
it's a human right.
That was a really good Bernie, Christy. I'm real proud of you. But yeah, no. So there's this thing we refer to as social Darwinism. It's survival of the fittest, right? Yeah. And people who have more humanistic tendencies don't really like that. That's why we help our weak, right?
Let's go to the Bible. Let's use the Bible.
Yes.
My personal most favorite verse as an atheist. Mm-hmm. It just is. It's beautiful. I don't care who said it, what context. It doesn't matter if it was biblical or comic book. I would love it. Is the one that Warren, at the end of this last debate, the one that she recited. It's we should be judged by how we treat the least among us. Mm. Yes. Yeah. Yes. If you have and someone doesn't, I'm not saying you have to go without so they do. I'm saying you have so much. If you took just a little bit and put it here, and everyone else that had so much took a little bit and put it here, just a little bit, nothing you're going to even feel. The people who have nothing would at least have the basic necessities, is all I'm saying. Let's, be willing to fight for people we don't know. That is such, I think, an American value. I just do. I'm an American, and I feel like that is an American thing. Think about any tragedy that has happened anywhere in this country. What's the first thing people do? Drop what the fuck they're doing and go help. Mm-hmm. This is just putting that American value in a policy and making that shit happen. Yeah. And caring enough to see it through.
Right. And survival of the fittest does not fit there. And survival of the richest doesn't either. Those are not humanistic qualities or philosophies. So just kind of wanted to point that out. Anyways, are you ready to wrap up? Do a little community news?
Yes. Oh, I do want to say today is actually 40 weeks since I stopped dyeing my hair.
No shit.
Look at that. It is so long and silver. Yes. Look how silver that is.
It's crazy that it's been that long.
I
know.
Is it
40 weeks?
40 weeks today.
That's...
But I still have this long dark stripe.
I know. I was just telling my friend about that. I'm like, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's so silver. I took pictures in the sun today. Mm-hmm. And when I came back to the house, the light in here does not show, but it is the color of silver jewelry.
Yeah?
So bright. Yes.
It's really cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, you know what that means then, right?
I am full of wisdom.
That too. We know that. No, you're gonna have to take a new LEAH
Yes,
pic.
I'm gonna have to take new pictures for sure.
Yep.
And your name's Gray Skeptic, and I'm just Gray.
You know what? Let's just switch. I'll be Christy.
I'll be Gray. You
Gray
be Skeptic.
There we go. There we go.
I know. So cool. Yep, I went to check, and I was like, 40 weeks. That's a gosh darn pregnancy. Like, that's how long it takes to cook a human. What I have on my head.
It's true.
Ding!
That's no baby.
It's done. I know. I have been asked because I do show the progression on my Instagram. There are lots of women. I've gotten so many messages from women like, you give me inspiration. I just started. And it's really cool because 40 weeks ago, I was saying that to women who were this far or further, going, okay, you can do it. I can do it. Let's do this. So it's been really great if you are a man or woman or anything in between and you want to grow your silver hair. Instagram really has a great community. Silver Sister, hashtag Silver Sisters, Gombre, Gombre. They're young and gray, young and silver, silver hair don't care. There's so many of them. You'll find all of them on there, and just a beautiful array of different humans, all different colors of humans, all different textures of hair of human, all different levels, from 2 weeks just started showing silver to women who have never colored their hair and are 22 years old and already going gray. Everything on there. Men, there are men with silver beards and silver hair, and if you're into that, lots of them are really gorgeous. I'm just saying. So there's silver foxes and silver vixens, and there's one woman who's 76. I can't remember her name. She so gorgeous. I feel like she's like 54, and she's got this long white silver hair, and she never modeled until her hair went silver. And when her hair went silver, she was in her late 40s, and she would get stopped everywhere like, your hair is so pretty. And she started modeling, so she's been modeling through her like 60s and 70s. It's just a great community.
That's amazing.
So 40 weeks, and it has been way easier than I thought it would be. I try not to look in the mirror too often because I'll be like, oh, you're not even growing. But I try to do every week, study it. So a week has gone by, and I can look at last week's and see, oh,
we can. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really cool for us to watch it because we see the progress each week.
That's awesome. Yes.
It really is awesome.
I really hope. Oh, see, if I stand right there, you can see almost how light it is. It is so
very
white.
Very
and it's so shiny. I get asked, what do you put in it to make it so shiny? And it's the softest hair I've ever had. I've been coloring my hair since high school, so I don't know what my natural hair should feel like, but it is so soft. It's so soft. Whenever you guys see me having the French braid right here that I have a lot on Friday nights, my daughter does that. She can't keep the braid in. She has to wet my hair and put stuff in it. It's too soft. It just falls right out. So, I mean, there's worse things than having too soft hair. First world problems.
Yeah, first world problems. Hell world.
I know, hell world. We do need a t-shirt that says first world problems, because that puts things in perspective real quick.
It does.
You're like, yeah, first world problems.
I have first world problems.
Yes.
There's our next shirt coming out. All right. In other news, real quick, we still have Purple Rhymes with Orange. He's still having his fundraiser to help him move home. He's raised $500 out of his $2,500 goal. So that link is right there in the chat, and it's also down below in the doodly doo. And we have what else here before I forget? Oh yeah. 2 things. I have another link for you guys. One is Kim Iverson posted a video, finally, I've been waiting.
Finally. Yeah.
Here it is. Please watch and share around. I haven't got to watch it yet, but it's her footage from the West Bank. And YouTube may be suppressing it. It would not be surprised.
I downloaded
it. Like it is.
They can't take it from me.
Yes. Cool. I mean, I wanted to like download all of her videos because she gets a lot of like demonetized stuff, and like I feel like they're gonna pull some like stuff at some point. If they're gonna pull anything, her stuff would be on the line. But anyways, check out that video, and not only check it out, please share it. Please share it like on Twitter and Facebook, because I'm sure she got some really good footage, and you don't see a lot of footage from the West Bank. So when we get it, we need to share it. It is important, because whenever we hear anything from the West Bank or Gaza, we hear one side, not the other. So push this side, please, at least for balance, even if you disagree with it. All right. So there's that. Last thing. This is really important. I'm not sure if you guys know this. You need to subscribe and like this video because we are only 18 subscribers away from getting to 700, and that's super duper awesome. So please help us get to 700, and then keep going. But yeah, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video, or dislike. We got 2 people disliking it. That's fine. Thanks for listening long enough to know you dislike it. Other than that, yeah, I guess we'll see you all next week. We don't know what we're gonna be covering because we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen in a week. It's hell world. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us this weekend. And why don't you stay
humanist for God's
sake.